Do I have to say my name? You guys say your names.
Well, that's the intro. We're
Right,
we're
yeah.
talking about the
Yeah.
Just
episode intro.
Yeah. Yeah.
the
So you guys
subtitled ones.
you guys are just
Yeah.
gonna do the two husbands, many writers, and then I'm gonna jump in with the what this episode's about, like I normally do.
We're just amateurs here, okay? We
Yeah.
don't we don't know like you
And
guys.
I'm
You know,
saying
Yeah.
two
industry.
writers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Abigail, and this is
Two writers.
Many Wrongs.
Two writers.
Two husbands.
Today, we are super excited because we have the boys on the podcast. So, my husband Michael, we've talked about a lot, and Maddie's husband Josh, we've talked about, I think, even more. And we're super excited to have them on. We always talk about how supportive Josh is and like reads all your writing and like all that kind of stuff. And then we talk about Michael being super supportive with like Maggie. So, I do feel
Yeah,
like we talk about the boys a lot.
we do talk about the boys a lot. Well, they're good
Can't help
guys.
it. They're good guys.
Long time listener.
Thanks.
Mike is
Big
a
fan.
part-time listener.
If you listen enough, you can also be on the podcast.
That's
Join our Discord, Two
probably
Writers, Many
true.
Wrongs. Visit MaddieRainWrites.com or Abigail Elaine? Is that how you
Yeah,
pronounce that?
Elaine. Yeah.
.com? Yep.
I
Yeah.
love the promo going here. It's
The
great.
the marketing guy. He's trying to
It's
get hired.
What is,
fantastic.
what is it? At Two Writers, Many Wrongs on Instagram?
Yes. Yeah, it
So,
is. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Shout out.
I
You're
think we're
hired.
done. I don't think I need to work tonight.
Yeah. Just go ahead and
Oh
hit
my.
that subscribe button.
Right.
Like.
What about you, Michael? What are you bringing to the table?
I mean, you pretty much nailed it. I'm just here for moral support.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, really need
Yeah.
that.
I'm slamming that like button on Instagram. I'm telling
Oh
people at
yeah.
work about
Oh
it.
yeah.
I'm more in the field marketing.
You're in.
Yeah.
Oh, in
Yeah,
the
that's what it
field.
is. Yeah.
He's our
Yeah.
sales rep.
Grassroots.
Yeah. Hmm.
I'm an armchair marketeer.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
here. Just yeah,
Oh
it's
my
true. And
God.
also, great job marketing the thing in the thing. Like not really
Yes.
reaching a new audience there, am I?
It's like
But
putting a QR code on the website.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But
really nailing it. It's okay. We like it. We'll clip this part out and then put that on our Instagram so they know where else to follow us.
Yeah, I'll make a
oh
little
yeah.
clip of it.
Yeah, nailed it. Okay, I do want to ask you guys questions like we would in a normal interview process, if you're good with that.
Totally ready.
No, no. I didn't agree to this.
Well,
Well, no,
listen,
I'm just kidding.
you're married to
Hey,
Maddie. We agreed to a
hey,
lot of things.
hey, you know what? At 8:30, I will unlock that door for you.
Thank you. So that's the escape. I have an escape room. I have 1 hour to escape.
Yeah, there
My
you go.
plan is my plan is to wait until she just opens it. You
Do you
know,
have Bailey and Briggs in there to help you break out?
I do have Briggs. Bailey has decided not to hang. He doesn't like my room anymore for some reason. But
Oh,
Briggs is here. She's a good girl.
good girl. Yeah.
That was the first question. Do I have the dogs?
Yeah, that was the first
Yes.
question. Easy,
One
easy
half.
peasy. No, so I want to ask, just like first and foremost, this is a super vague question, but like, what does it mean to you to be married to a writer?
Want me
Yes,
to take this one
Michael.
first?
Yeah,
Okay.
Michael.
Go ahead.
Um, I love it personally because I talk a lot about you at work or with my friends or everybody, but writer is such a like a unique thing, especially for you guys who are like you've done programs, you've done master's programs, you've published things, you've done certain things, you've gone to, conferences and like it's kind of like your livelihood in terms of the way you want it to be, obviously. I know you guys have talked about on your podcast about like not making money and things, but it's still something that you guys do because you enjoy it. It's more than a hobby. As someone who doesn't have like a ton of hobbies or anything that like I'm very passionate about other than my work, it's always really nice because that you guys can do it anywhere. You guys do it in so many different ways that I find it really interesting.
It's so hard not to talk over you and be like, oh my God, that's so sweet.
That is really sweet. That was a really
That
sweet
was really
answer.
sweet. I'm like, did you write that down? Did you prepare that ahead of time? That was really
No,
No,
good.
no,
That's from
I'm
the heart.
shocked. Yeah, that's very
Oh,
sweet.
I'm so
Nice.
touched.
All right, you
Mine,
can
mine is
start.
gonna seem, mine's gonna seem less sweet, I guess. But I happen to be a fan of Maddie's writing, and I want it to exist and, you know, be a thing. So to me, it's great. It's like endless content that I can enjoy by letting her do that stuff and then making cool stuff that I get to read. Big fan. Um, I think I'm the only one, not the only one, but one of the only people who gets to read it right now. So stay tuned is what I would say because there's some really good stuff coming in. Once somebody publishes it, it's gonna be rad.
Yeah, please publish it.
Yeah,
That,
please.
but
Someone.
that's so cute that like you get to be married to your favorite author. I love that.
Yeah, and I mean, I was telling her like even if like she doesn't publish or whatever, I need her to finish it so I can freaking read it. Like can we like even if it's just for me, can we at least do that? Like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, he's my patron.
That's
Patreon.com/ anybody.
No,
I think that's
stop,
okay.
stop. No,
I
I
don't think
don't
there's
have
a
a
Patreon.
Patreon.
No, but I really love that because I mean, Maddie and I have talked about like wanting like that motivation and that support. So that's really cute that it's like a built-in motivation of like if no one else, she gets to write for her best friend and like her partner and like I just really love that you have your own like little like you said like content generator machine and she has her own little
Hmm.
champion. Like that's
Hmm.
so nice.
But let me tell you two things.
Yeah.
When you're married to your fan and they're like obsessed with your work, and you're like, so I was thinking this next chapter, and he's like, no, you can't do that because that doesn't happen until later, and that can't doesn't make any sense chronologically, and like he'll like quote my own lore back to me better than I know it, and so that can get a little frustrating.
Hmm.
That's really
Yeah.
cute though. There are so many times. So, Michael, I let him read my work once it's published. So he has not read nearly as much of
Mm-hmm.
my work as you have of Maddie's work. And there are times that like I'll talk
Mm-hmm.
to you about it and then remember like you have no fucking clue what I'm talking about right now. And like I have to go back and give him the backstory of what's happening.
You do a pretty good job. A lot of times I'll be sitting here and there's something on the laptop. And she's like, all right, this chapter, all you need to know is this person has done this thing and you don't know this part yet, but you need to know it as the reader. You know it, but the character doesn't know it. And I'm like, okay. And then I will
Hmm.
read it.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'll have him read like action scenes to be like, does this make sense? Like,
Yeah.
does this sequence of events,
Or
is it
sport.
clear? Yeah, I do use him as like an encyclopedia. Like one of my my first novel, The Little Kid Plays Baseball, but it's also set in September, which
Hell
I
yeah.
learned is not baseball season.
But it's not a baseball month.
Right. So he plays fall ball, which I learned is a thing. Yeah, so I do
Yeah.
use you for that.
It's
Yeah.
different uniforms. The uniforms are less cool in the fall though, because in spring ball you get to be a baseball team like the Orioles or the Cardinals, but in fall ball it just says fall ball, and you gotta go
That's
somewhere
fine.
that's not
This
your normal
kid
place.
is 7 and is not good at it, so I think he's all right with that.
My best baseball was in fall ball. I was able to hit it one time real good, and I
One
don't
time.
remember what I did that. I don't remember how I did that, and I wasn't able to replicate it any future time. And
That's
my
okay.
my my phone is open if any teams want to call and you know bring me in. But
Free
like
Send you.
agent.
Yeah.
you know,
A pinch hitter right there for you. I got the game ball one time because I was the only kid on my softball team to hit the ball and it popped up and I didn't know where it went and it came back down and hit me on the helmet.
nice,
Yeah.
Great writer, though.
I'm talented in other ways.
talented in other ways. Yeah, it's fine.
Oh my God. Okay, so but speaking of writing, I want to ask you guys, I know a little bit about you, Josh, so I do want you to answer this second because I think you're gonna have a longer answer. But I want to know what your guys' experience is with writing or being creative in that way yourselves.
Oh boy. Um, I have always wished to like two things. I wish that I could draw, and I cannot.
Mm,
And I wish
mm,
that I could be like good at creative writing or creating world building, any of that kind of stuff. I've always loved the idea of like wanting to play D&D, but I feel like I don't have the capacity to like fully commit into it or the creative aspect quickly enough. I'm pretty good if you
Mm-hmm.
give me like something and then like however long time,
Yeah.
eventually it will happen.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, oh, write for 10 minutes, just write what you think. A lot of times I will write what I think whoever's going to read it should want to read.
Mm-hmm.
That has always been my issue, which is helpful because in my science world,
Mm-hmm.
it is a lot easier to write towards a very scientific audience
Mm-hmm.
and someone that is
Mhm.
going to read objective fact constantly.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like creative, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I think I'll write
Mm.
about, dragons or something. But like, that's because people like dragons. Like, I
Yeah.
don't really like dragons, or
He
I
doesn't have
Not a
that
not a dragon
intense.
fan. Yeah.
Right.
like, I
Yeah.
do like dragons, just for the
But
record.
yeah.
It's more of a
But
wyvern
Glad we
just,
guy,
cleared that
you
up.
know.
More of
I,
a wyvern
I'm
guy.
not trying to
Yeah.
eliminate part of your audience here. Like, oh my God, this guy.
Really alienating the dragon fans out there, man. Jeez.
Listen, when Michael and I started dating, he's always had this duality in him of like half jock, half nerd, and
Mm.
often the jock side wins out. So like you do have that innate desire for nerdiness and appreciation for nerdiness, but the creativity behind it is, I think that's where you
Totally
struggle
lack.
a bit with it.
100%.
Yeah. I get that.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. But Josh, you're super creative. Tell us about that.
So I am a published poet. I peaked
Mm-hmm.
in elementary school. Shout out to that one book that I know that is my childhood room. I don't know if it's anywhere else,
What
and
was
I'm
the poem
scared of.
about?
It was about space because I was from the Space Coast and I voted about
Yeah.
space. You know.
Yep.
Um,
And he's
uh,
also Brevard County.
I knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
yeah, Abigail's ex-stepdad was my math teacher one time,
Yep.
which is a really weird crossover.
It's the Brevard
Uh,
complex.
Heck yeah. So in high school, for my IB program, I wrote a novel, um, which I didn't read again. I feel like I probably got a bit too philosophical in the second half because I was reading 1984 and Animal Farm around the time.
That'll do it to
So
you.
I imagine it's probably insufferable to read. Luckily, I don't think any copy of it still exists, which is great. Um, so
What
that
was
was
that
fun.
about?
It was like a post-apocalypse thing.
Nice.
It was
Very
some
of the
guys trying to
time.
travel from like a post-apocalyptic, um, like basically a hurricane cut the United States in half, and the East was oppressing the West in the post-apocalypse, and then it gets really unreadable in the second half, I imagine.
I'm thinking some rewrites. That sounds pretty fucking good.
Does
Well,
sound pretty
see, here's the
interesting.
thing. At a certain point, I discovered that I like the storytelling of like games better
Hmm.
than like reading stuff. So like maybe it's a game that I'll make someday.
Hmm.
Really trying to make games, but like we talked about Dungeons and Dragons a bit. I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. And like I really enjoy the kind of natural storytelling that kind of forms from the experiences of people, and that's kind of like the experience that I like in video games, the kind of experience that I want to create in video games. Just like you are playing the game's not telling you a story as much as it is you are kind of creating and experiencing the story while playing. So things like Crusader Kings is a big one that's like that, where like the story develops and stuff like that. I think Stellaris is like that. Um, and obviously Dungeons and Dragons. I'll DM for you if you want to get into it. You know, we can do something
Okay.
fun.
As long as I don't
Um,
have to create it, I think I can be a part of it.
Like literally trying
yeah,
to
dude.
create his character for like a mini session, he went straight panic and was like, I don't know, I just want to be like Aragorn. Like just make me Aragorn. I
If you
don't
want to
know.
be a ranger for
Yeah.
sure. Uh, I
Of
don't know. I
course,
guess
who doesn't?
sometimes, yeah.
Stealth
Aragorn's
Archer,
good.
I mean, what other build is there?
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
the best thing about
Beastmaster.
Aragorn is he uses like all kinds of weapons in it too. He's got the
Hmm.
bow sometimes. And yeah, it's
I
Yeah.
pretty kick ass.
my favorite D&D is playing a Beastmaster Ranger because I like to have a pet dog. Giant
Oh,
wolf. Same thing.
nice.
Yeah, I think Aragorn would probably be more like a gloom stalker, maybe.
But see, like this is
Yeah.
like a collaborative kind of storytelling where you could,
Hmm.
you can ask your DM if you have a DM and you can say, "Hey, I don't really feel comfortable making a character, but I'd like to be this type of character," and like pick a character from pop
Mhm.
culture and they can help you create one or just give you one because there's some sessions that have like pre-made characters and you could just pick one of those to play.
Yeah.
See, that would be helpful to me because, like, you brought up video games. Like when you have to create a character, I
Mhm.
will either have her do it because she takes the time. There's all, how advanced they
All
are
the
now.
sliders and
I
stuff.
love
I
Yeah.
it.
will put like whatever, default, doesn't matter, ponytail, doesn't matter, cool, looks like a person. Zoom. It's the least time I spend in
I
any video game.
I love you. I think that you are the most handsome man in the world. You are the default me.
Oh yeah, I don't have to change anything.
Like when you play like the Wii, right? Like he is just the default character. So that's often what he ends up doing is just going with whatever the default character is as like a brunette white
I
man.
usually add a beard
Yeah.
and a scar, and then
Just because he thinks
Think
scars
of
are cool,
change the
not
tint
because he
of
has
the
one.
skin, and
think
that's
of all
it.
he's been able to accomplish in his life because he's not wasting his time in character creation, you know? He's able to just
And
move
think of how
on and
much I've
go and
lost in my
infinite.
life
Yeah.
making characters.
Though
I
to be fair, I do also hand the controller to Maddie sometimes when it's like doing character creation because like I don't understand. I remember the one time I really tried in Mass Effect. He looked okay, and then he would turn, and there was a massive, massive cavernous
Like
lack
cheekbone.
of chin or cheeks.
Yeah, just
You
like
know, it's
gaunt.
terrifying, terrifying
Horrible.
oh
thing.
my God.
So, I'm not good at
But like some of
those
those character
either.
creators, they don't let you turn profile because you need to turn
Hmm.
profile because there's some really terrible
Yes.
things that can go wrong in character creation on your profile face.
Yes. Yes. But like even on my Animal Crossing, like if I play it on the big TV, we say to Maggie, we'll be like, "Look, it's Mini Mama." Because like I spend so much time making my character look like me and putting her in outfits that are similar to outfits I already own.
I do the same
It's
thing.
great.
Same thing.
Yep. What's the games you're playing right now that you keep talking about?
Clear Obscure Expedition 33.
That's what Maddie's playing
That's what
right
I'm
now.
It's so
playing.
good.
It's so
It's so
good.
good.
It's so good.
It's really good. It's I'm too old to learn all these new game systems all the time, so it's nice to be able to watch Maddie do it. Um,
I'm not
but yeah.
typically turn-based combat type person, but it feels like a rhythm game rather than a
Mhm.
combat kind of system, so I've been
Yeah.
managing it. But I keep trying to explain the story to her, and this is another thing. I'm not good.
No.
Storytelling is not good, so I lack it in conversation and I lack it in writing even worse, and descriptions are not there. It's a lot of he, this, them, these people, this guy, the guy in the black shirt.
Just
So
imagine
writing, speaking, it's all bad.
It's all bad.
imagine it's an apocalyptic situation, but it's in France.
Yeah,
There you go. That's
yeah.
Perfect.
there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's
No, Michael's kind of guy, like he'll come home from work and like he gives me the download on the work gossip and it's great, but it always starts off, he'll come in the door and be like, "Oh my God, so she said," blah, blah," and I'm like, "Who is she?
In media
What was the
res.
situation?" Shut the
right.
fuck up.
Right. You'll find out in a bit when he flashes back. Like, he just
Yeah, no, that is. I have to wait for the fucking flashbacks because he'll go, "I'm getting there." I'm like, "Well, can you start there? I don't know what's happening right now."
Right. And it's not an intentional for the
No,
benefit of the story for
no.
me to leave out details. It's I left out details and have to get back to circular logic
Yeah,
through it. That's
yeah,
again, it
yeah.
all comes back
it's
to
just
I'm not a good
it's
writer.
retcons. You're just
Yes,
retconning it. It's
yes.
fine. You know, so some
Yep.
people say that he's the George Lucas of work gossip.
Correct. Oh yeah. Maintaining merchandising rights. It's fine.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to my mom tonight because she's babysitting so that Michael and I can record right
You
now.
have a
Um,
baby?
I know, listen, who knew? If I could get through a whole episode without mentioning her, it'd be a miracle.
We should play we should start.
Um,
There's a new drinking game for our podcast. Anytime Maggie is mentioned or babies are mentioned, take a
Well,
shot.
you guys are gonna be
you
sloshed.
you call out the fact that you bring it up all the time. So now every time you bring it up, I'm like, oh, she's got a baby? What? Every time. That, and you
It's great.
invited that
It's
by
great. I
pointing it
did.
out,
I
you know,
did.
you
Yes. No,
know.
absolutely. Because I don't want to be one of those obnoxious people who like only has stories about my baby, but let's be honest, I only have stories about my baby or Michael. That's it. That's all I got. But anyway, I was talking to my mom tonight, and she had a really interesting question that I actually really wanted to know the answer to. It's two parts. The first part, the guys have to answer, and it's how do you support your writer? And the second part is we have to answer how do we want to be supported?
Oh, jeez.
That's
Is this a
interesting.
couples therapy session? Is that what's happening?
Well, I think it's really interesting because there are so many different ways. I mean, again, you read so like all of Maddie's work. Michael doesn't read any of my work, but like, how does that work for us? Like, I just think it goes back to the foundation of this podcast, which is there's no one way to do it.
It's true.
There's like, so I'd love to know, like, how do you guys support your writer?
Michael?
I'll just okay. Am I just gonna always go? I can always okay.
I don't know.
Um,
You're 3 for 3 so far.
okay. Um, the easiest answer is um the first thing I can think of is literally back in March. You guys went to AWP,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a big priority for you. Of
Mm-hmm.
you wanted to do this, you wanted to make sure you had that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to take off work that
Mm-hmm.
way. Once again, Maggie, that we could bring, I could watch Maggie those
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 days that you were gone. So I
Mm-hmm.
could kind of support you in that way. So we didn't have to like travel back and forth or find a bunch of babysitters or you couldn't go or you only went a little bit of the session.
Right.
So I think a lot of it comes, at least for me, is like supporting you in that department of making sure your schedule is cleared to I need an hour today to do
Mm-hmm.
my edits. I want to do editing tonight. Do you mind taking care of this or
Mm-hmm.
do you mind doing this kind of thing? So it's
Yeah.
I guess acts of service is type of
Yeah.
my easiest way answer.
Well, I was gonna say, even before Maggie, the first time that we went out to AWP, Michael and I had just gone through like a really big like personal tragedy, and like you being like, "No, I'm gonna come out to Seattle with you, so that you're not doing this alone." Like, obviously, Maddie and Josh were there with us, but like being like, "Yeah, I'll go hang out in Seattle all day by myself. Well, you go to this conference so that you don't have to be alone." Like, you're very much like the physical presence of like the I will block for you so that you have time to write. I would
Right.
agree with that. That like,
Well,
yeah.
and even when we started, we've been together a very long time, I'm sure
Hmm.
you've mentioned. But when we were living together for the first time, like before we
Hmm.
got married and things, you were working on your master's,
Yeah.
so I was working. And then when I went to do my master's, you were working for me. So like we've done a good job that way.
Yeah.
But I've just tried to always maintain that. Or when you're like, hey, I need you to read this, you give me a very
Yeah.
specific task. Look for spelling errors, look
Hmm.
for grammatical things, or this type of thing. Like I'm pretty good at that
Yeah.
department. Or you'll ask me for words every once in a while
Hmm.
that you'll eventually call your mom because I won't be able to come up with it. Um, but I'm pretty good at that aspect of
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm thinking of this, or again, like you're like, I
Hmm.
have this scene is what I'm trying to
Hmm.
do. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
I'm
The
like a bounce off guy.
Yes, the well, you let me talk out loud and work
Yeah.
through it. Yeah. The one time that Michael actually got to the word I needed before my mom was like the greatest day of his life. Like he talked about that for a week
Yeah, it's been downhill
solid,
since.
and was like, "I beat Carla. I did this." No, but I was gonna say, that is a way that I like being supported, but I think the most meaningful way that you've shown me support is my very first Mother's Day. Like he was like, "What do you want?" Blah blah blah, whatever else, and I was like, "I don't know, doesn't matter, whatever." Assuming it was going to be some kind of like mom related thing because it's Mother's Day. And he got me a Kindle Scribe, and
Hell
it was
yeah.
such like I don't even know that you consciously thought of it this way, but to me the way I interpreted it was such like a you are more than a mother. Like it was a very clear statement of like you are a writer, and yes, you happen to have a kid, but like I see who you are.
Mhm.
So like that was a really big deal for me that you've never allowed me to just be like, "Oh, I'm just a teacher. I'm just a bookseller. I'm just a whatever." You've always been like, "Oh my God, my wife is a writer." And I'm like, "Babe, I haven't published shit in a long time." And you're like, "I don't care. You're a writer. Like that's who you are." Like,
That's where I always
yeah.
start. When people
Yeah.
are like, "Oh,
So
what does your
sweet.
wife do?"
Yeah.
Writer.
No, that one.
Then the 10 other things that
Yeah.
you somehow managed to.
Yeah.
I know.
No, that's
It's
always
wild.
been a
I
good
can't
one.
keep track of all the stuff Abigail does.
Yeah, I'm constantly busy.
I
Can't
have
believe
one
one thing.
job and like that's it. It's already hard enough. And now baby, I'm like this too much.
Yeah,
Two things?
That's
Come
two
on.
jobs.
two jobs.
Crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah. So Josh, Maddie, what's your support system like?
I like to think that I generate anxiety for Maddie to get rolling. I think that's probably the thing that I do. Um, I don't know. Other than
Yeah.
that, I like I've said, reading her stuff and asking her about it and all of that stuff. Like I remember the other day, so she tells me about her novel and stuff, and I know about like things that are supposed to happen later, and I'm like, these things are so cool. I want them to happen earlier. And then she was talking about how she's kind of incorporating that into this first book, and I'm like, yes! Damn it, it's gonna be so good. Very excited. So, it's that kind of like talking about this stuff with her. 'Cause I'm a big fan. So, um, and just doing what I can in that regard. Um, hopefully, there are some pieces that she submitted that have gotten really close, and I feel like we're right on the cusp of getting at least a
Yes.
couple of the short stories out. Um, because what I want is I really want the short story collection to come out, all together,
Mm-hmm.
because they all got little nuggets that connect each other, and they'll all click together into place later, and it's gonna be great. You know.
So, he's such a
This is,
I
fanboy.
love that.
I love it. It's so cute. Like, we've talked about like your lack of confidence growing up. Like, literally last episode we talked about, how you like struggled with that confidence and like he's your own confidence generator. It's so nice.
Yeah, it really is. But there's also the double side of that. It's like, oh, what if I write this and Josh doesn't like this because he likes all the other things I write. Um,
Josh, would you ever tell her if like you were like, this isn't really working for me?
Um, I think I have. Have I?
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's like because if it's like I remember there was a draft of one of her stories where she kind of removed like some of my favorite stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember telling her that, and like I really liked this other stuff because it kind of gives the story like more character and whatever. And she added those back, so that's pretty nice.
Nice.
so we
Yeah,
we
so
talked about this exact story earlier, and
Yep.
Josh was not the only one
Mm-hmm.
because it was like the only like silly part of the story, but like pretty much everybody read it were like, no, no, it needs to stay.
I just to me like that's what makes the compliments worthwhile because if I ask Michael like, "Hey, does this look good on me?" and he says yes, I know that he means it for real because if it doesn't, he has said, "Not your best." And, like,
Probably nicer than that,
probably nicer than that. That's probably how I hear
but
it. But
yeah,
like I know the compliments are real because
right.
I know that you'll also tell me like, "Ooh, babe, your hair is not it today."
oh jeez.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was practicing my makeup for a wedding, and
Hmm.
Uh-huh. I knew this was
and
gonna come
the
up.
wedding. And I came out to see like it was kind of like a darker look on the eyeshadow,
Hmm.
and I don't usually wear eyeshadow. And I walked out, and Josh goes, "Oh, you look spooky."
I don't know.
And then so it was for
It wasn't as an
it.
insult. It was just like, no, that's
That's
so
that's really
cool.
not
I
the
like
worst
that.
way to.
Like I
What? It
liked
was
it.
for a wedding. It
Yeah.
was for his brother's wedding, and it was supposed to be like
Hmm.
a pretty elegant, like
Yeah.
shadowy eye. And
Yeah.
I had to take a picture to like show how the bridesmaid dress fit on me with my practice makeup
Yes.
to get it approved by the bride. And
Yeah.
I still have that picture, and you can tell it looks so sad in it.
Oh. But again, like I want a partner. Number one, I want a partner who's going to tell me the truth, and I want a reader who's going to tell me the truth. Like that's how I know that the good stuff is actually worthwhile if you're going to gently let me down when stuff's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Maddie, how do you want to be supported?
I think Josh undersells himself a little bit of what he does for me. I mean, literally, like I quit my job and I don't get paid, and Josh supports me and lets me work on this without there's no evidence that I'm going to ever be
Mhm.
published, but he wants me to fully, engage in that. And that is such a really cool opportunity that I am so lucky, and we are so fortunate that we have the ability to do that. But that's a big way
Mhm.
in which he supports me is just giving me the space and letting me bet on myself for a little bit because it's really scary to do that and go fully into
Yeah.
this. And I think
Hmm.
that's really huge. I would not be doing as much as I am doing if I didn't have the space and time to do it and not feel like I have to like that pressure to like grind and make so much money. And when the thing I really want to do, it just doesn't really pay very much. And I might, and down the road pay some money, but it's not going to be enough to keep a roof over our head. So I have Josh,
Hmm.
who's very willing to
It will.
do the work for
It will
that.
when Neo Disney gives us 6 billion for the IP.
Hell
It's
yeah. Hell yeah. Keep those merchandising rights.
heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with
Um,
Josh as my husband, I know he's going to be on that contract. Like, let's see what we got.
oh yeah.
I just want
Well,
somebody to
and it,
publish my work. He's like, when you're a millionaire and Disney's making movies based on your work, I'm just like, I would just love if
I
somebody
love
paid
it.
my like published my short story for free. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that'd be great. I also, if I remember correctly, Josh like pushed you to bet on yourself as well. It wasn't like a you had to go to him and be like, "Hey, I would like to do this. Is that okay?" Blah blah blah. He was like, "Quit that fucking job. Let's go. Be a writer." Like,
Yeah, he was. It
right?
was something that he
Yeah.
talked about for years before I actually did it. And I waited
Yeah.
until I I wanted to save up money because I didn't want to just
Hmm.
like completely
Of
be like
course.
support
Hmm.
me while I do this. I wanted to have some of my own money and he would have been fine if I'd done it like immediately, but for me I needed.
She would come home and she would be very tired and she wouldn't want to talk to me about her stuff because she was too mentally tired after work.
Hmm.
And come on, I want to talk about it. So
I love
quit
this
the
it's all
job
coming
so that we
back to
can.
just Josh being really selfish and just wanting the next
I I
episode of
am
his TV
I am
show.
just I am just here to be entertained, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, and the best part is you guys met while Maddie was in grad school. So you've only ever known her like as a serious author. So you've been getting that content since the very beginning, you
Oh yeah,
know?
she had a little packet for me to start with, and I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, approved. We may date now. This meets my criteria, and yeah,
I had to submit a
that's all
query
that's all it
letter.
is.
I was gonna
Hmm.
say I'll take the first 50 pages and then the next chapter and we'll see.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean
You guys fucking crack me
it was
up.
really funny though because like when we first started dating, I was like, I'm starting grad school. This is a really bad time. But he was always
Right.
very supportive and like gave me the time, and I was like, oh, I need time and I can't hang out and like it's a very new
Hmm.
relationship. So the fear of like him like losing interest because I was so busy with grad school and working a full-time job, like
Hmm.
he was patient and he waited and he was always asking about my writing, and he was like. I remember one time when like we were really early hanging out, like I had him read some of my poetry and we were just walking around talking and he quoted a line from my poem. And I was like, "Did you just quote a line from my poem?" And it was just like
That's
some
the fucking move.
Damn.
Damn.
Fellas, you got yourself a lady. Read some of her poetry and memorize it, and then quote it later in conversation. It's great.
Michael, do you remember any of the horrible poetry I wrote for you in high school? Could you quote anything?
No, no, but I have all of the notes that you wrote me in high school,
Do
like
you
in a
really?
Oh,
box,
isn't
all in
that
the folder.
sweet? Your
Yeah, there's
grandkids
little.
are gonna find the box
We
later,
need
and
to
it's gonna
burn them
Oh, they're
no.
tragic.
immediately.
It's gonna be the beginning of a movie, and it's gonna be sweet.
A
I don't know.
bad, straight to Netflix. Oh my gosh, it's all those people from that other show that suck. Movie, maybe.
Yeah, we need to burn those.
But no, I have a lot of those.
wait. I want to know about these notes. Why are they so tragic?
They Because they were okay. I had a running list of like fictional couples. So every note was addressed like to Han from Leia or, to Harry from Ginny. So like every single note is addressed that way, which is just
And there were no repeats, I don't think,
no.
because she had a
No.
list.
Yeah.
That's
So I checked them
impressive.
off. So I never
You
wrote
had a
anything.
Even better.
One
list?
of one.
Hmm.
Letter one of one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but now when your grandkids are gonna find it, all of those things are gonna be in the public domain, so it'll be fine.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
But
movie's
like
writing itself. It's great.
they were always notes of just like, I'm sitting in math class and thinking about you, and I miss you, and I love you so much, and let's go get ice cream after school today. And blah, blah, blah. Like just fucking trash nonsense, me not paying attention in class, basically. Um, they need to be thrown
But
away.
they're in that cool fold, how you fold pieces of paper into the square that folds into itself.
I
Oh
did fold
yeah.
So they're
note
very
really
easy to
good.
store.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Right.
was really good at
Oh, see,
that. Yeah. A lot
I'm
of them
gonna
are just
be.
covered in doodles.
Yeah, the margins are always decorated differently as well.
Yeah.
That's
Decorated.
really
Love
cute.
that.
I don't think you
I
should
did
burn
really
them.
good in school, guys.
Well, it goes to show how long I have been as consistent.
Yeah.
You wrote maybe 100 of these, and there are maybe like less than 10 in return from me,
And they're all bad.
and
I
they're
love
all
you.
and they get bad.
They're so bad. Like
And they're not even good.
literally,
Yeah, go ahead.
he in college. So I'm a year older than he is. So I went away to college my freshman year, his senior year of high
So
school. What?
I was just gonna say it's the same thing with the grammage. where like you would go first, and then so like, you and Maddie would go, and then me and Michael would go on the expedition.
Oh my God.
I was literally just thinking that I'm like, I'm starting to relive video games in real life again.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
Josh,
Because it's like that thing that happened.
Josh was literally getting so upset. He's like, "This is what it would be like for us. It would be so sad. You would die." And I'm just like, "It's
I'd go the heck onto that on that expedition.
Oh yeah, I
Probably.
getting slaughtered on the beach for sure.
Exactly. I don't think I would make it past the beach either. You know, the whole systems are too complicated for me. I'm just gonna get whacked immediately.
So
Sorry.
welcome to our
Sorry.
podcast about video games. I'll be leaving.
Building
You're our
simulations.
hosts.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're
You're older than
good.
him.
Anyway, but yeah, he wrote me because I would write him like letters like probably every other week and mail them home and whatever else because I love mail. He wrote me one letter my entire freshman year.
Ye-
And while it was not technically a breakup letter, it was as close as you could have gotten to a breakup letter without saying the words, I'm breaking up with you. And I called him and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, I wrote you a love letter. I'm like,
Oh
no,
my
you
God.
didn't.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
because I did a similar move,
Yeah.
similar with like we would make each other CDs,
Oh God.
and my music taste is there's no consistency
Mm-mm.
of like she will make me ones that
They have a
oh
theme.
there's a theme. This one's all like pop punky, or this one is love songs or whatever. Mine were just like whatever songs at the time that I was like these are great. And so it would be like Frank Sinatra something into
Reliant
like
K.
Paramore into like weird Reliant K into some depressing something. So I apparently unintentionally made a breakup album as well.
hmm
That
Oh
was
yeah.
also called in tears, being like, "Are we breaking up? Why did you want me to listen to this?" And I was like, "Oh, these songs are so good, aren't they?"
I
Yeah.
am
So,
so glad that Maddie and I were full adults when we met, so that we didn't have to go through that. Oh,
Yeah.
are
terrible.
Yeah.
we full adults yet?
God, no. I don't think so. Josh and Maddie have always been more adults than we've been.
we're just better at
Like, not
pretending."
Uh,
even. I don't
yeah.
know.
That's not it.
That's it. Yeah, it's because you guys have always had like real grown-up jobs. I've never had a real grown-up
Yeah,
job.
always. I came out of the womb and they gave me like
Yeah, you
W-2.
came
You
out
know, it's
full
Yeah,
yeah,
beard.
off
yeah.
IRA.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the two weird things that have happened since we've been together, where you didn't have any credit because you didn't exist.
Mhm.
And so we had to like we had to like call these numbers and get like the mailing address of like the credit bureau to prove that he existed so that he could start getting credit.
So
And
this worked well into adulthood that like you didn't exist.
yeah, and
How did you go to
Who
school?
are you talking to?
Oh my God, shut the fuck up.
Abigail. Anyway,
God damn
um,
it.
so but then there was the other weird thing about the letter that you got, the thank you for your service letter.
Yeah, yeah. So I was given a letter from the Veterans Association saying, "Hey, congratulations on retiring from the military. This is how you sign up for your veterans benefits." Like,
Okay.
that's interesting. And I had noticed, I don't remember if it was before or after, but a couple times on my way home from work, there was a man in a full like suit who would be walking on the sidewalk as I drove past, and he would, when I would come by, he would stop and then watch me pass. Uh, so that was
I
interesting.
think Josh is a
So,
sleeper
you know,
agent.
I think I was a sleeper agent, and then you know, they
Deactivated.
cut me off, deactivated. So I'm hoping in so I'm not in any way prepared for the apocalypse. So I'm really banking on the fact that I was a sleeper agent, and I'm just gonna be woken up.
I'm
Like
gonna.
what game was that? The Division? Was that what it was?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
you should be
Right.
activated. I'm just gonna keep sending you like a voice memo every day of some phrase and just
Right.
see if
Just
it's
to
the
see.
activation phrase.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
So that's I'm
weird.
really banking on that. If
That's
the
really
apocalypse
weird.
happens and I don't get woken up and I just have to like survive,
Getting back on topic, I love that we digress with you guys just as much as Maddie and I digress when it's just the two of us.
I wouldn't know
Um,
because I listen to the post-edited versions of the
oh,
podcast.
Well,
that's true. That's
You
I
can
still
find
fun
anywhere you
include
get your
stuff.
I
podcasts.
still
Yeah.
oh my gosh. I still include a lot of our digressions, but you know,
Josh wants the first draft of everything.
I know. But he's like very
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's
You
like
guys have said first draft, best draft.
No,
no.
No,
First draft, worst draft.
that's my writing style.
that is your writing
I never
style.
reread it.
I mean, that's how
up
like
You
front.
didn't ask that question, but
that's how
Good
I was
try.
in school, like with essays and stuff. I
Hmm.
was first draft, best draft.
Hmm.
Always got like
Yeah.
best essay in class.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, but I do want to ask, what like i- if you guys have ever watched us write, what is something that is like funny or like cute or whatever while watching us write? Like, do either of us have any like weird things that we do while writing? Do you ever pay attention while I'm writing?
sometimes.
Normally, because so Michael and I's desks are facing opposite each other, so he'll play video games and I'll work on my writing, but our screens are also like in between us, so we can't often like see each other, which is why I
Hmm.
ask. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah. You're in the power position.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, nothing comes to mind right away.
Okay.
I mean, I do. Why you always look? You look a lot more engaged with that
Hmm.
than I see you most of the time. Because if we're watching TV
Hmm.
or something, usually one or both of us is on a phone as well.
Hmm.
Or if you're doing something like Netflix is also playing, like if you're
Hmm.
doing your work or you're doing
Yeah.
something for grading essays or something for school, when you're like writing or editing, like that's
Hmm.
usually the only thing you're doing.
Yeah.
it, Even if sometimes maybe you have a podcast or you have something, but a lot of times you don't have anything,
Hmm.
and that's like the whole task. That's the most engaged with something that I see you.
Yeah, it is
And
that.
like
It's a
trying to talk to
focus.
you is a lot of like over the screen, or I just like creepily wait
Yeah.
until you see me and you're like,
Yeah. Or you'll try and talk to me, I'll go,
yeah, crap. Yeah, a lot of that.
yeah. Yeah. That's
A lot
true.
of,
Yeah. I don't want to lose my thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
That
fair.
Maddie does that too, where it's definitely like it's like you're gonna wait, you know. It,
Yeah. We work
somebody better
so
be
hard to
dead.
chase
Yeah.
down the inspiration. Yeah, basically. We work so hard to chase down the inspiration. We can't just let it go for like a side comment.
Yeah, because if I let it go, it's gone. That's it. The whole day's
Yes.
wasted.
That does happen. Oh yeah. Like if we both say something, I always
Mhm.
give it to Maddie because I'm always scared that she's gonna lose it.
Mm.
Um, and my thing is usually not that great
Well,
anyway.
maybe just talking
Yeah.
about conversation. I'm often, if he interrupts me while I'm saying something, I'll forget what I'm saying because I always explain
Hmm.
it like, for me, thoughts are just like I'm throwing something and like things are like whizzing by me and I'm trying to like catch things as they come. So like if
Hmm.
you like let the thought pass, it's gone forever. And I'm like, I'm not like, oh man, what was that thought? I'm like, oh, here's another thought coming. I just my brain is just constantly
Hmm.
in motion. So, but he gets
Yeah.
frustrated that I forgot what I was going to say. It was
Yeah.
probably not
Michael tried
important.
to ask me literally like 2 days ago. He was like, "Hey, what was that thing you were gonna tell me?" And I'm like, "I don't fucking know. That was 2 days ago.
Oh
I
my
have
God.
no idea what I was gonna say. It's gone."
Yeah, I've moved on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He has to know.
Yeah.
That's the most intriguing thing, you
No.
know? Jeez.
Lost
No.
Yeah.
If I don't write it down, it's gone. Yeah. All right.
Oh, I have a. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go, go,
No, you can answer the question first.
go. No, you
No,
go.
no, you go.
Mine's unrelated.
Oh
Uh-oh.
no.
Uh-oh.
Well, he'll
Don't forget
remember.
it.
He'll
Don't
remember his
forget it.
thought.
Will you remember?
Yes.
Okay, he'll remember. All right, Josh, what's something cute that Maddie does while writing?
She talks to herself and or mutters to herself, depending on
Aw,
the level of privacy she has. So,
nice. That's
yeah.
like your teaser trailer of what you're gonna read next is listening to her mutter.
Oh
I
gosh.
okay, so here's the thing. I actively don't listen when she's doing that. I just am not I just I'm not listening because I don't want to hear something weird. I don't know.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
it's just a thing.
no
But I think it's
spoilers.
also the same sort of thing. I think you guys have talked about this on the podcast before, like when we're out and about. I just actively do not listen to people most of the time, like eavesdropping, because
Ugh,
like
so
I
annoying.
just don't care about their lives or anything like that. But also just like I'm doing other stuff with my in my mind. I don't want to be bogging it down
Hmm.
with all this other
Hmm.
stuff, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there are plenty of
it is
times
what
that
it
we're
is.
out to dinner and I'm like, "Oh my God, Michael, did you hear that?" He's like, "Hear what?" And he'll say it like loud, like, "What are you listening to?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
I get so much more frustrated when I attempt to whisper because you go, huh? And I
Yeah,
can't. So
What?
it's gonna be loud and proud.
What?
always, always. Yeah.
Huh?
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah, that is what I do. Huh?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what was your thought that you're not forgetting?
I was gonna ask you guys a question.
Oh,
I
what?
feel like I should know the answer to, but
Okay.
is there a point in time when you guys knew like writing was something you wanted to pursue or that you were good at writing, or did someone tell you? Did it like some a
Mm,
teacher be like, you should really I think you have something here that's special, like you should go forward with this, or was it something internally where you
mm.
guys were like, this is something I enjoy doing that I think I would like to pursue?
Do you want to go first?
No, you go first. I want to mull on that.
Okay. I feel like we've touched on this a little bit on the podcast, but for me, like my mom and my uncle have always been big readers and like have I think had like aspirations of writing, but never actually like taking the time to like do it. So when I showed an interest in writing, like they were always very like supportive of that. Like especially, I mean, you guys all know like my mom is my first reader, like she is my number one like writing supporter. So I think that she always really encouraged it. And like when I went away to college, like there was discussion about my major. And my mom was always like, no, fuck that. Like you're doing creative writing. It's what you've always wanted to do. It's like so it's always been like supported in that way. But I don't know if there was like a single moment where I decided like, no, this is what I want to do. Like I've just literally always had the writing thing in me. Um, I mean, okay. So because Michael and I grew up in the same place and have known each other forever and started dating in high school, we do some really throwback references. Do you remember in like third grade when you had to do the color poetry book with your buddy who was in sixth grade?
Yes.
Okay, that poetry book was the first time that I was like, oh shit, like I really enjoy this.
So that's so much that's funny you brought that
Yeah.
up because specifically, do you remember the publishing center?
Yes, I've talked about that on the
Okay.
podcast. Yes.
So that is where like literally even Josh like jokingly was saying about
Hmm.
like being published like in elementary school, but like that was
Yeah.
like how we felt.
Yeah.
But like my mom still has those books, and I
Same.
read one like when I was in college, and it is awful, and it was something I was so proud of, and it is just like god awful
Hmm.
AI sounding garble.
I'm sure my mom
And
still has mine
and I
too.
remember
Hmm.
teachers being like, "Oh my gosh, like you should really pursue writing and like this is so great and whatever." And just never
Hmm.
once feeling like writing was something ever I was meant to do in any capacity,
Hmm.
be it, all the FCAT testing and getting
Hmm.
sixes on eighth grade and 10th grade and stuff and be
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I'm so good at writing." It's like, no, I knew how patterns worked, I think.
Yeah.
Um, you write the opposite of what everyone else is going to write, so it sounds interesting. Like, again, circling back, I write what I think someone will find to be the right answer
Very
rather
people
than what
people
I
pleasing
actually
of
have
you.
inside of myself. Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering because
Yeah.
like that, I
Yeah.
remember a moment where a
Yeah.
teacher was like, "I support your writing and I think
Hmm.
you should go forward with it," and me being like, "Are you insane?"
Yeah. I mean, like, I did have that with teachers, but I think it was more so like my mom's encouragement. And then again, just knowing like
Yeah,
that was always in me of
yeah.
like, I couldn't escape it. And then my mom would be like, oh, like, what are you working on? Like, what are you writing about? And like ask those questions, like show genuine interest probably for me. But what about for you, Maddie?
I'm trying to think because like I was never in doubt my entire life that I was going to be a writer. I literally have a picture of me when I was like 3 or 4 that I keep on
Hmm.
my board right here writing.
Hmm.
And so I always knew
It's
I was.
also on her contact page,
Oh,
maddyvane.com
oh
slash contact, if you want
God.
to see it.
It's actually a different
This is my
picture.
favorite bit.
It's actually a different picture, but it's like the same kind of idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's the
But
same.
anyway, I always look at her when I'm writing, like I'm writing for her. But anyway, so ever since that age, I always knew that I was going to write, but I
Hmm.
never thought writing could be my career. It was always like, yeah, I will also always write, but I need like a job to do in the meantime. And I don't think until I was like very recently within the last couple of years where I'm like, oh, I think I could actually do this as a career. It's something that I really
Hmm.
fully want to do in just this. And, that was kind of the leap of faith I did was when I started taking, because even when I went to grad school to teach because I thought, oh, that'll be good. That'll be something I can do to make money so that I can then have the summers off to write. But it was never like, I want to
Yeah.
be a teacher. I want to be a
Hmm.
writer, but it just never occurred to me that I could just be a writer until like the last couple of years when I started this whole venture. So I think that really is the answer that it was like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago that I was like, oh yeah, I think I could be a writer. Seriously.
No, I agree with that though, because I also always had the backup plan of like, how am I going to make money versus how am I going to write and like find time to write. But I always tried to shoehorn it in to my job. So like there was a long period of time, I don't know if you remember this or not, in like high school where I wanted to be a photojournalist because I was like, oh, that combines like two of the things that I love and I still get to write for a living. Um, but it wasn't until much later that I thought like, oh no, like I could publish books. And to be honest, I don't know that I'll ever do that like for a living. I don't know that I'll ever make enough money to do that for a living, but I think what you touched on earlier, Maddie, is like both of our partners support us emotionally, but both of them support us financially as
Mhm.
well and like allow us to be writers. Because it is I feel like that's one of the number one like difficulties that creatives face is finding time for their creative efforts while also living in a fucking, capitalist hellscape.
Yeah, it's something that I think about a lot of how very fortunate I am to be in this
Hmm.
situation. But I do hope to find a way to make at least a little bit of money, like enough that like
Same.
I don't think writing is like I'm
Hmm.
gonna be rich, but I was like it'd be really nice if I could afford groceries for the family. That'd be
Yeah.
like my top tier goal.
Yeah. Well, and my thing is I would love so like because I do work so many different jobs now to like piecemeal enough together to, like contribute to the household bills and stuff like that. But I would love to get a big enough advance that I could take my family on vacation. And like I take my family on vacation. Like I pay for like airfare, hotel, like that would be my really cool thing that I would love to do to like as a thank you for the people who have helped support me the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First class.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, I have the last like kind of funny-ish question. Um I have two questions really, but one of them is, do you ever worry about being written into one of your like partner's stories? Like, is that a concern you guys have of like, oh shit, this is gonna go on her writing or anything like that?
I'm never worried about it.
But you know
Until
you're in
just
there.
now.
No.
Right, never occurred to me. No, because you're a writer, so you write all the time. You write different things. You have your line of day journal that I
Hmm.
have recently found out that I know there are entries about me, but
You're not allowed to read it.
I'm not allowed to read it. But I recently learned that there are
Mhm.
entries about me that may be unfavorable. How could I have, after 15 years, how could there be anything
In your personal
unfavorable?
diary that you might be frustrated with me
Correct.
sometimes. Hmm.
M period, L period. Um, so it's never something that's worried me. I feel like I feel pretty flattered, but I feel like you
Hmm.
typically tend to stay away
Yeah.
from anything too specific that I would,
Mm.
if I ever read it, like I'll pick it out. But like,
No, there's definitely stuff like in my first novel that like because I always say like my characters are amalgamations of the people in my life. So like there's definitely pieces of the husband that you would read and be like, "Oh, hey, that's me." But there's no like one for one character of you.
I think it would be fun if there's ever something incredibly specific where I'm like, hey, that's mine, unless it's negative. And then I'd be like, oh, dang it.
It wouldn't be negative. No. No. No.
But
What
also,
about you,
that'd
Josh?
be a boring character though if they didn't have any negative traits though.
Right. I am hearing it now out loud. Like, you can write negative things. I'm not giving you
Yeah.
permission, but just write whatever you
Oh,
want.
thank you. I really
He
needed your
gives you permission.
permission.
Hey,
Oh,
that's
Say
so
thanks.
nice.
I
Oh.
support you as a writer.
say thanks, sir.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
no, that's one of my favorite bits though. If Michael ever says something like slightly off like that, I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, dear husband, thank you so much for permission. You're so generous, sir." And like he gets so eaved out so quickly. He's like,
Yeah.
please stop, please." It
Yeah.
cracks me up. It's great. It's a good bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely a thing. I say, I dare you to put me in your writing. Throw me in there. I'll smoke these fools. It's alien enough that it's
Smoke
like
these fools.
it would be rad if I was in there. Put me in. I would also say, there was a story that she had written before me
Mhm.
that I read, and it kind of the character resonated with me in a certain
Aw.
aspect, which is there's a moment where, and Maddie probably knows, where a character they're in a post-apocalypse again. Here we are, and it's like they've scavenged some food, and he's like, "All right, let's crack in." And the girl is like, "No, let's get plates and glasses and stuff." And I was like, "No, just eat it. You know, who cares?"
Having been out to dinner with you guys multiple times, this is true.
It's just like dang. So I felt called out, even though she wrote that before she knew me.
Okay, I do just want to ask really quickly, it's not my last question, but I'm super proud of Michael for this, so I want to give him a second to brag.
Oh,
What are some of your favorite books that you've read recently?
Oh
Michael's
boy.
been
I
reading.
have been trying to
You've read like
read.
5 books this year.
Yeah, I'm doing
I'm
good.
super proud of him, like legitimately. Michael was never like a big reader. He would find a series, he would burn through it in like 2 weeks and then not read again for another year. So he's
And
like,
then it was textbooks for a long time, or a lot of
yeah,
very
yeah,
boring scientific
mm-hmm,
like this. Try not to memorize it, try to actually learn it.
right,
And then so that burned me out of reading for a while.
yeah.
Um, I would just say if someone asked me right now my favorite book, I'd probably say Project Hail Mary, which I know is very much in the zeitgeist right now.
Yes.
But
Andy
mhm.
Weir
I
is your
was a
favorite
little bit
author.
ahead of the game on that one
You read that
because you were
several
like,
years
no,
ago.
you
Hmm.
should read this. Excellent audiobook,
Hmm.
as everyone seems to know.
We can't see it.
Excellent.
Oh,
No.
So good.
ooh, hardback.
Um,
Pretty.
but recent books that I have read, everyone in my family has killed somebody
Oh yeah.
was very interesting, kind of a fourth wall, like
Hmm.
mystery type book.
You
The
liked This Is How You Win the Time War.
I did. This is How You Win the Time War was very,
Maddie
very
has that
interesting.
one
That was
too.
a tough book to get back into reading though. So
Hmm.
that was I
Oh
started
yeah.
reading it and struggled, audiobooked some of it, read some of it, and kind of went back and forth.
Hmm.
Um, and then the latest in the Hunger Games series is
Oh
the most
yeah.
recent.
Yeah, I had him read Sunrise on the Reaping
Um,
too.
very good. Those are all
Yeah,
good.
and you're reading, what are you reading right now? That's the
Oh boy.
not Parnassus. What's it called?
I'll think of it.
Okay.
I'll get there.
All right. It has like the satyr on the cover.
Hmm.
Paranesi? I don't know. Anyway, Josh, what are you reading?
Piranesi. Piranesi.
Piranesi.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Top books: Temple of Eldin,
Oh my
The
God.
Uncrowned Queen. One is available on maddyrain.com/fiction categories. I don't know if it's on there. Um, I feel bad. Maddie is always telling me, it's like, man, I really wish you would read this book. I know you would really like it. And I'm
Hmm.
like, aces. I don't know.
I'm sure I would.
I'm just not a reader. I've read stuff and I've liked it, and it's
Well,
like
talk
Hmm.
about the books that
I've
you've read that you've really, really liked. Because you recommended one to me and you had one that I recommended to you that
yeah,
you read.
I recommended to Maddie Provenance by Anne Leckie. She wrote the
Hmm.
oh God, Ancillary
Hmm.
series.
Yes.
Um, something about her stuff that I like is that like there are a bunch of books that are different stories, but they're in the same universe. Love that.
Love
Love
that.
that. So I just read another one from the universe and threw it in there. And then another one that she recommended that I liked was the Monk and Robot series by Becky
Hmm.
Chambers. Um, those are fun. Um, takes place on the moon of a gas giant.
For
Yeah.
those of you who are only listening, every book that's mentioned so far, Maddie has turned around and pulled it off of her shelf. Like she literally has all of them at the ready.
She doesn't have Pub
I
whatever the one
don't.
that is. Yeah.
There's some
She
that
doesn't have
Michael
that one.
mentioned that I don't have, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think it's
Um,
funny.
Tune into the video podcast if you want to see what do you guys is it behind a paywall, the video podcast,
It's
or is
it's
it
behind me that's trying to edit it.
Go back and say your nice thing about us.
Oh, I was gonna say that's the it's a double-edged sword, so I'm sorry, it was nice, and now I'm thinking about it.
uh
The double-edged sword of being married to writers
Hmm.
is one, it's very nice because you will watch something or you will read something or whatever, and you'll be like, you have to you'll be
Hmm.
like there are stuff she'll recommend where I'm like you'll get to it eventually, and then there are stuff where like you need to listen to this now or you never will, and you will love it and you'll be obsessed with it.
Hmm.
Because you know what I like and
Yeah.
you can understand how I will appreciate how it is written, how
Hmm.
it's designed, something
Yeah.
about it. The negative aspect of that is it is very hard to watch things with you because you typically will figure them out like 95% of the time. It is so rare that you are surprised by a storyline,
Yeah.
and I am never on board. It is like the other 5% where I understand what's going on,
Hmm.
and you're like, oh, I didn't see it coming.
Hmm. Yeah.
Very rarely do
Yeah.
you ever miss something. You're like, oh, by like the third episode of something, you're like, I already know, I can see the lines like in the air that I
Yeah.
just
Narr-
don't, I never have
I almost
that.
always know how
I
some shit's
never
gonna
have that.
end. Yeah.
narrative and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The last movie to actually surprise me was the Spider-Man Homecoming.
Hmm.
And that's only because I like was so into the movie because Spider-Man's my favorite superhero that I didn't see the big twist of like the villain being the girl's dad, and like it knocked me on my
Spoiler.
ass, and I like literally,
Spoiler from 10 years ago.
yeah. Like literally walking out of the theater, Michael was like, I can't believe that like you didn't like you always know how, and I was like, no, didn't see
The
it.
fact you can come up with one example is
Yeah.
proves my point. There
Yeah.
was something else recently. I'm trying to come up with it, but
Hmm.
we were watching it at home
I
though.
don't know.
But yeah, one example of where you,
Yeah. Does Maddie do that? Does she always know how shit ends?
We're gonna find out with
Oh
Expedition
my
33.
gosh.
I think she's got something here. I don't know how far you are, Michael. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, I think narrative as like a science is a thing that she knows about. So for the most part, yeah, she's got a pretty good handle on stuff. I think for her, it's less like, dude, that twist totally surprised me, and more like, I can really appreciate that twist. That was really well executed, and I liked that. You know, very
Yeah.
almost clinical,
Hmm.
which is good. So she's able to like mine like technique and stuff for her
Hmm.
stuff.
Okay, so if we're watching something, I usually won't like tell things that like I notice because I don't want to ruin it for somebody. But
That's
Yeah, because
very
she
nice
sees the
of you.
twist.
wow, what's that like?
One of my favorite things when Michael's reading a book that I recommended to him is he'll come out swinging about halfway through the book and be like, these are my predictions for how it's going to end. Like, I'm calling this right now. And of the 10 predictions he makes, generally, like one of them is relatively close, and the rest are
I think
so scattered.
I think that's the jock in him.
Yes.
We're really bad at making predictions of what's going to happen.
Yes.
I'm like a pretty
Yeah.
bad Reddit thread, I think, in most aspects of my life of just like, oh, this guy. Here's this, oh God, this guy again, throwing out his nonsense.
Yeah. I have a pitch for you guys. So, Maddie and I have basically decided that we can't afford to go to AWP every year. So, we're going to try and go every other year. So, I'm going to pitch that my mom watches Maggie and you and Josh go and have like a video game spree for those 5 days while Maddie and I go. And hopefully by that point, our podcast will have enough followers and, whatever that we can host a panel. But that's my pitch for 2027.
Hell yeah.
Depends on the city. If it's like if it's like Tulsa, Oklahoma, I don't want to go,
You're
but
in a
like
hotel room playing fucking video games. What
what
does
I'm
it matter where the
saying,
hotel
I will
is?
have to eat food at some point.
Oh my God.
yeah. Yeah, I would say it's because I want to go to Kansas City one more time, just
Yeah.
and that's it. Because there's
In
some stuff I didn't do. I want to make sure.
Also, I don't know about you, but I heard Tulsa, and Michael and I are both musical theater people, and all I could think of was Tulsa,
Tulsa,
Massachusetts.
1967. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
same. There
Okay.
has to be, when I was gonna say the jock in me, there has to be like a stadium there or something. We can
Hmm.
like also see like a baseball game or
Josh,
indoor
you don't have to argue with
football.
Josh. He'd be there for you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was gonna say when we were in Seattle, the XFL Sea Dragons were playing that
Hmm.
Sunday or whatever, and I was gonna make a joke about how that's when Michael's hatred of dragons started. Yeah.
All right. Well, here's the deal. We really wanted to have you guys on the show, mostly because we just love hanging out with you. Like Maddie and I talked about, like our husbands are our best friends. Like you guys are our favorite people in the world. And
it's true.
much like Maddie and I, you guys are very similar and very different at the same time. But yeah, I just Thank you guys for so much shit. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being on our podcast. Thank you for reading our work and loving the way that our weird minds work. Um, like again, just even with this podcast, I told Michael, I was like, "Oh hey, like Maddie and I are starting a podcast," and he was like, "That's fucking awesome. That's great. What can I do?" Like we have talked often, but we're very lucky to have you guys as our partners in life.
Yes, very, very, very
Yeah, I like the
fortunate.
podcast.
The feeling is mutual. I
Yeah.
felt very supported in my lack of
Gross.
endeavors.
Gross. Disgusting.
It's so sweet. I know
You
it's
schmoopy.
You schmoopy.
you're gonna cut this down to like 20 minutes and it's all just gonna be like sappy,
Michael's
really.
platitudes.
I will say, in all honesty, I'm probably gonna skip this one.
Yeah.
Don't really want to listen to me. You
Oh
know.
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I have a hard time re-listening to the episode sometimes because I'm like, I already lived it, but then I re-listen to it. I'm like, oh, I completely fucking forgot that we talked about that.
I actually get really
Yeah.
inspired when I listen to editing the podcast because there's so much
Yeah.
insight in it that I'm like, I do like writing. I really do. Because like sometimes you forget,
Yeah.
and then I edit the podcast and I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, I do. I really
That's
enjoy
that's what
this.
I would say about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not into writing or anything, but like it does get the creative juices
Hmm.
going listening to the podcast. So
Yeah.
that's how I've sold it to people because, there's no writers in
Hmm.
around that I work with. So whenever I'm selling the podcast, I'm like, if you got anything creative, it's good to listen to get your juices going,
Yeah.
get rolling,
Your juice is
it's
going.
encouraging.
No, I agree with
Yeah.
that. I mean, I think that Maddie and I try to approach the topic of writing just as a creative endeavor in general. And like obviously we're going to talk about like specific things like when we do our Back to Basics series. But I agree with that. I think that we try to just be encouraging of like any creative pursuit.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys are encouraging in a realistic way of like, here's the good stuff, here's the bad stuff, here's the really shitty stuff, here's
Yeah.
some high highs, low,
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not just like manufactured, like
yeah.
it's pretty real.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
I haven't talked about it on the podcast yet, but I did email Maddie. I got my rejection from the agent who had asked for more pages, so that was a rough one. Oh, that was going to be my last question. Because it was one that I thought about that I didn't write it down. But now, look, I caught the thought again. Are you proud of me?
Oh, you
I
It
am.
was gone and
caught
now it's back. How do you guys how do you guys feel or like deal with it when we get rejected? Because Maddie and I have talked a lot about like how we feel when we get rejected, but like I know it affects you guys too. Like anytime your partner is hurting, it's going to affect you. So how do you guys deal with our rejection?
I hate it because I never know what to say to you.
Oh,
That's
Mm.
how the like the joke became like a real thing of like, oh, every rejection letter is like we go for ice cream
yeah.
because we need something good to kind of counteract. But I
Hmm.
have no, there's no,
Yeah. This last big rejection, I was literally grilling pork chops outside and Michael was watching Maggie and he like I don't even know if you were watching me to begin with, but like all of a sudden he was just like at the door and he was like, "What's wrong?"
yeah, you were staring at your phone in a way that looked like someone died or
Yeah.
someone just gave you very bad news, which,
Oh,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Which I just handed my phone over and was like, I
yeah.
just didn't want to talk about
So I
it.
mean, like you
Yeah.
said, it's
Oh,
it doesn't feel
heartbreaking.
good, and
Yeah.
it's frustrating,
Hmm.
because of the things that I have read and what I know about you, and like,
Yeah.
I always want you to succeed. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm terribly helpful because like usually I just encourage her to submit it somewhere else.
Hmm.
that is
Basically just be
helpful.
like, "Hey, where are you gonna submit it now?" Which, probably not as emotionally available or whatever as it probably should be. But I think it does go to like, yeah, I don't know what to
Yeah.
say. Like, damn, it's like that sucks. I guess yeah, I guess it's just how it goes,
Yeah.
Like it's tough. It's a
Their
difficult thing
loss.
to really deal with,
right,
but that's why like this podcast is helpful in that way because like you guys had people who like and you had an agent on, you had somebody who does a magazine or whatever. Like you have people that are on the other side basically saying like 99% of the time it's not because you're a bad writer or because you're awful
Hmm.
or whatever. It's just, you gotta hit the right person at the right time,
Hmm.
you know?
Yep.
Maybe it would have been if you would have submitted a month earlier or a month later, it would have been perfect for that issue or whatever, and it just
Yeah.
isn't right now. And then that sucks. It's a really tough thing that you gotta just keep rolling, keep trucking
Keep
which
trucking.
yeah,
I'm gonna save that clip of Josh telling me that, and every time I get rejected, I'm gonna play it for myself of like, listen, it's
That's
not me
good.
and you. Like it just is what it is. Like that is encouraging. That is actually really helpful.
Yeah, just
yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you from experience that getting Taco Bell every time is not the way, I would say.
because
Um,
it happens too much to get Taco Bell every time.
Maddie
Yeah.
is throwing them out there. She's got like 5 things, and
Hmm.
so like she got a rejection
She's
letter this
amazing.
morning.
I got a
Like
rejection letter
she
this
got one this,
morning.
Yeah. But
which you know,
your tenacity is so inspiring to me. Like I have slowed down on querying agents because I was getting so worn down with the rejections. But like every time I talk to you, you're like, yeah, I just keep sending it out. Like it's gonna happen eventually. Like that.
she has like a website
Yeah.
that organizes them all for her now, so she doesn't need to use a spreadsheet. I don't know if
No more
she's talked about it in the podcast.
spreadsheet.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't believe you outed
Oh,
me like
yeah.
that.
Hey, you wanna hear about it? Watch the next episode of the podcast.
there you
Two
go.
writers, many wrongs. Uh, Anywhere
Yeah.
you get your podcasts.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah,
We
thank you so
appreciate it.
much. Really
Mhm,
appreciate you guys coming
welcome.
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, it's been great.
My
Um,
rate is $20 an hour.
you're gonna have
Uh,
to work that out with your wife, dude. She
Uh,
handles the books.
Actually, if you could get in touch with my husband, he's the one who handles the money.
yeah, it's all just gonna be a circular thing. I'm gonna call
Yeah.
my own phone number and
Mhm.
yeah.
This was the boys.
The
The
boys. Hey,
boys.
yeah, now you got an outro. Throw
I
it in there.
hated that. I'm Abigail.
And I'm Maddie, and this has been
Two writers.
Many Wrongs.